2022 continues with the person you couldn't wait to hear from. So please welcome back to the show, the host of the Keiser Report, and of course, one of the most recognizable faces on the planet when it comes to the topic of Bitcoin. Max Keiser, welcome back to the show here.
Hey, Daniela, great to be with you.
And I just want to say, just for you, Max, I came dressed for the occasion, wearing my Max It Up t-shirt. That's how excited I am for this interview. How's your new year going so far?
It's great. You know, we are seeking citizenship in El Salvador to become a citizen of the first country in the world to make Bitcoin legal tender. And it's really the most exciting thing to happen in Bitcoin since, I guess 2009 when Bitcoin started. And we're also helping in the project of volcano bonds. So the country is going to raise $1 billion on volcano bonds. And I think we can get that number up toward the $20 billion level. My goal is to make this country debt free. So this is some of the excitement that's going on here in El Salvador, thanks to the President Bukele, who made Bitcoin legal tender.
Yes, and that, as we know, was historic news when that came out. I want to talk to you about that. Obviously, a lot of excitement about your return on this show, because last year you came on my show and you gave your famous outlook for 2021. Max Keiser's 2021 Bitcoin forecast. You're hearing it for the first time here, folks.
I'm going with $220,000 per Bitcoin.
That, of course, made worldwide headlines, 220,000. We will talk about that, of course, but we do want to talk El Salvador. We want to talk about what's happening right now in Bitcoin. And of course, I will also reveal my Bitcoin forecast that I wrote down with Max. Good. I also have a forecast for Bitcoin.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it. I'm going to write it down on a piece of paper, fold it, and put it into this desk that you don't see in the shot. Who came closer to their target? Do we have a wager on that?
Yeah, I think we wagered a cup of coffee.
Well, stay tuned to the end to find out, folks. All right. First, let's start with the price, Max. Okay, this is number one question, so let's just clear the air here. And I always say it's extremely difficult to come on a show and make forecasts. You were calling for, Bitcoin over 220,000 by November. You said you use proprietary information when you come to these calculations. I've now seen that you've moved that target. So let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about what you think went wrong with what was a huge miss on forecast here, because we're now at a 3-month low. As we're taping this now, Bitcoin's hovering around 42,000.
Right. So, well, as you know, we first started covering Bitcoin in 2011 when it was $1. And at that time, I was forecasting $100,000 per Bitcoin based on its ability to grab a significant portion of the global Forex market and to compete with gold. Now, as far as 2021 goes, I said, hey, we're going to get to 220,000 per coin, which is a typical 4-year cycle. What we had in 2021 was that massive China collapse in mining and hash power. So the mining and the hash power collapsed 50%. We have since recovered that now, and we're about to hit new all-time high in hash rate. And so that's why I'm pushing my $220,000 target from 2021 to 2022. So there's really a couple of numbers to keep in mind. There's price, there's hash rate, and there's the difficulty adjustment. Those are the 3 things you have to keep in mind. I've always said that price lags hash rate, that hash rate precedes price. And so we're going to see new all-time highs in the hash rate and followed by new all-time highs in Bitcoin price. The underlying fundamentals have only gotten stronger. The fiat money world is crumbling. Inflation is out of control. The Bitcoin network is getting stronger. If you look at the on-chain analysis, that is to say, the people who are actually doing transactions, not derivatives, but on the actual Bitcoin blockchain, we see an increase in the holdings of Bitcoin. The recent price action is driven mostly by derivatives. So the same kind of price discovery you see in the gold market that's kept gold now flat for 10 years and hasn't really budged at all. You start to see some of the derivatives have an influence on the price discovery in Bitcoin. ultimately it doesn't matter because the demand for Bitcoin is virtually infinite because fiat money is, as it always does, it's going to go to zero. All fiat money goes to zero, and we'll see that with the US dollar as well. And Bitcoin is now, if you listen to guys like Bill Miller or Paul Tudor Jones or any of the other major hedge funds out there, they're now openly saying that Bitcoin competes with gold. It's going to get a market share of gold. Gold's market share is about $8, $9, $10 trillion. Bitcoin is going to eclipse that market cap at some point. So all the fundamentals are very strong. So I'm just bumping my $220,000 target from 2021 to 2022. I've been doing well for the past 10 years since I first recommended Bitcoin at $1. So nobody's really complaining.
No, and I do want to point that out, that 2021 was a miss, but you have accurately called Bitcoin's price in the past. Now, few things I want to point out with what you've said. One, I feel that there was a lot of exuberance and excitement surrounding the Bitcoin price last year, but this year, the bears are out in full force. Yeah, you named some names, but a lot of the experts have been coming on, like Gareth Soloway or Novogratz also, are saying that we could see a crypto winter here. Soloway comparing the moment that we're seeing him here in Bitcoin to a .com moment. Now, he's bullish long-term, and yes, he's just one technical trader, but other technical traders are also pointing that we will be entering severe bear territory here, having breached the 46,000 target, and we could be here for a few years. Do you pay attention to the technicals?
I have no idea who Soloway is. And Novogratz is a hedge fund guy who's kind of on a revist who came later into the game. I mean, he's a trader. And for traders who are aggressive traders, that's a different game. You know, I'm not really a trader. I'm a holder. I'm a hodler. And I don't invest in Bitcoin. I divest out of fiat money and I divest out of gold. And I'd rather be a day early than a day late. As you see, Jay Powell and the central banks around the world are in panic mode. They're printing at a level that you'd have to compare to Weimar Germany or Zimbabwe, and they're literally about to torch this economy and the fiat money world down to the ground. So there's only one unconfiscatable, uncensorable money in the world, and that's Bitcoin. And that's the fundamental story. So you should own it. You should own it aggressively. If you're a trader and you're looking for trader signals and technical analysis, I agree with what Peter Lynch said about technical analysts. They're 100% correct when looking backwards. They're 100% correct in predicting the past, right? I don't know of a single technical analyst billionaire in the world. Technical analysis is essentially astrology for men.